Jaquan, you guys had that series in the second quarter where there was the Kyler sack, then your sack, then you forced the throwaway that they got you the penalty on.
Yeah.
You come away with an interception. What TJ comes close to one, and then Deshaun gets it. Just in terms of the drive, was that as dominant as you can remember the Bears being?
Yeah, I would say so. Like you said, it was like back-to-back plays in a row, and just guys flying around, attacking the ball or making creating plays. So definitely.
When you guys rewatched, have you rewatched that today?
Yeah, we lost it.
What's that like from a defensive perspective?
Yeah, from defense, you just see the energy. You just see guys having fun. Guys feeding off the energy of the stadium and the fans and things like that. And you just see the chemistry just continue to grow. So it's amazing to watch.
What to you was the significance of Deshaun's, not only the interception, but the return and what that did for you?
Yeah, it was a big return. He's been having some nice returns. Obviously, he scored the first game, gave our first touchdown. And I honestly thought he was going to score again, but he gave us a huge return, nice cutback ability. And he almost did, but I feel like we're going to get a couple more touchdowns very soon. So very significant return, big for the offense, great for the team.
He said you bumped him in the right direction for like another 20.
Yeah, I wasn't really trying to sometimes you see players like push their player down. So I kind of just eased up, and then he just cut off of that and kept going for like 30 more yards. So it worked out this time.
What do you like about some of DA's calls on third down?
Yeah, just a lot of exotic, different looks. Maybe sometimes we'll blitz, sometimes we won't. Sometimes we'll go back and drop eight, whatever. There's so many different things we have. That's what I like about it. Once we get third and long, third and medium, things like that, we get to have fun. Really third and short too. So whatever we get on third down is good for us.
Is it fun in the meeting room when he puts a new one up on the board?
Yeah.
To kind of see the different.
It is. It's fun, especially when he's up there scheming stuff up, and then he comes back downstairs and he hit us with some good plays, and we're like, all right, this is about to work. And we start running them in practice, start getting the feel for it, and it's amazing.
You guys had a lot of success yesterday containing Rattler when you were in cover 3.
Yeah.
Why do you think that was?
Just different disguises. Us showing different disguises. Us really just being in the right spot. Rushing cover, coverage rush, things like that. Just playing together as a whole defense. So, and then guys just breaking on the ball. As soon as he hit his back foot, everybody was breaking it. So I feel like that played a huge part too. Because usually sometimes guys break a little late, and that's when guys get leakage yardage, hitting yardage, things like that.
Well, there was a challenge last week in coming off the high in Washington.
Yeah.
Getting yourself physically reset, mentally ready to go. What did you see from this group last week that put yourself in position to play like you did yesterday?
Yeah, first and foremost, just guys recovering, taking care of their bodies, which is big. Getting their mind right. Guys having urgency in practice, and then guys just being on their details and things like that throughout the week. You could tell it showed up on Sunday, and obviously attacking Sunday. How you wake up, how you come in the locker room.
You guys are 4-2. You were 4-2 last year, like right around the same time.
Yeah.
What feels different about this 4-2?
This 4-2, we're on a 4-game winning streak. We have a different coaching staff, a couple different players on offense and defense and special teams. We're closer. We're actually closer, players and player coach. I would say that too. I'll say, we're on one line. Everybody is on the same, type of level. So I feel like that's different. Obviously, we're creating turnovers, things like that, and we're feeding off each other. Special teams, offense, defense, and we really haven't played a complete game on defense and special teams, and Coach Ben would probably say offense too. So I'll say that.
You mentioned the coaching element of that. Like, how much is it just that is it that you guys feel that the coaches are putting you in better position, that they're more equipped for tight games? I mean, obviously you've pulled out 2 of those, and then being able to not really have it be a game in the fourth quarter. How much of that's the belief in what the coaches are doing?
Just the confidence they have in us. The beginning of the week, the way they talk, the way they talk to us during the week, they have confidence, and you could tell the way they talk, that they believe in us, that we're gonna win. That it doesn't have to be perfect, it doesn't have to be clean. It could be ugly. We just got to find a way to win. And long as we stay together, long as we keep doing our jobs and things like that, we'll have a chance.
Talk about that complimentary football. Y'all had the takeaways yesterday, but y'all also had the big possession after the pick. I forget it was a pick. Y'all came out there, stood up,
Sudden change.
When they missed it, what's the mentality when you take the field, short field, sudden change?
Yeah.
You ready to go?
Yeah, for sure. Sudden change. Like we learned, all throughout my years in football, and that's big. Turnover. So just got to get a stop. Can't let the offense get any momentum. And the field goal was huge. He missed it. It really counts as a turnover. Then we'd get the ball at damn near midfield. So that was big for us. And just getting a stop, not letting them gain any momentum or anything, things like that, having them go backwards, was very huge for us.
The last 2 weeks, Coach Harris has seemingly gone up to J-Mac and called how many takeaways you guys are gonna have.
Yep.
Is the preparation just that much more where he can feel confident that what we're seeing on tape, if these guys play the position the right way, the ball is gonna end up in their hands?
I'll say just beginning of practice. There's some things we see in film that they may tell us, get ready for. There's some things we practice that we take the ball away and you can see that's gonna come, during the game. So there's so many different elements to it that we're never gonna get an interception or turnover at some point of the game. We just gotta, make sure we study our keys, make sure we're really locked in, and make sure when the opportunity comes, we take advantage of it. So.
Ben said he didn't like that middle 8. What happened with the 14 points that the Saints put up?
Yeah.
In that short order?
Beginning to have had a huge explosive. We could have been better with the rush, blitzing, and and then we had a play where we just had to be cleaner, and they got the touchdown the first one, then the second one, also we gotta be cleaner. So all those touchdowns were really on us, and us as a defense just has to, be cleaner, be in better spots, and they won't get those touchdowns, and we gotta eliminate more of the explosives.
How would you describe the emotion that DA exuded when he got his game ball yesterday?
Oh, that emotion was great, to be honest. He was turned up. I like that. He was out of his element. Not act like he's all super tough and things like that. But it was good to see him having fun. Enjoying it with the players and the coaches and just the rest of the locker room. It was amazing, and especially giving the game ball. Especially against his former team and things like that. It was pretty cool, especially a cool feeling for me. Really ain't seen that in a while, so especially getting a game ball.
You've been on the wrong end of the defense as a whole has been on the wrong end of 14 points, and all of a sudden it snowballs into something bigger. Did it feel good after that to be able to actually rally back and say, yeah, we gave up the 14, but we're going to be able to lock back in and shut y'all down again?
Yeah, no, it felt good because really we were messing up our plays. Really, they were getting explosives off of what we were doing wrong, and we just had to really just settle. Don't get too high, don't get too low. Just stay neutral, which we did, and we really didn't panic. I mean, we've been playing with each other for so long now, so we just got so much trust in each other and belief, and now it's even rises up this year even more. So I feel like guys don't panic or anything. That we're ready for the next opportunity, which we were.
Jaquan, you got hit last week for going too low. Yesterday for going too high. How do you describe the challenge from your vantage point of having to hit such a small strike zone in real time?
Yeah, really just probably really be under control, have better technique. That one yesterday was a pretty tight call. I pushed the elbow, the ball's already out, and then I don't know what happened after that, but I guess when the ball's out, I feel like the play's supposed to be a forced fumble at that point, but I don't know, gotta keep looking into it. But for my vantage point, just really just have better technique and be under control, and those would be more cleaner plays.
What do you think's been the key the last 2 games to getting the run defense back to where it's, where you guys want it to be?
Yeah, just everybody doing their job, but really just being physical. Getting off the ball, being physical, being everybody being low, everybody owning their gaps, and just getting downhill and attacking. And just reading our keys, knowing what's coming, knowing it's going to be a motion or a swap back, anything like that. We got to handle, and we got to just make sure we just keep our eyes on our keys and do our job, and that's what we have been doing lately. That's been the emphasis these last couple of weeks.
The emotion and the energy that you play with, obviously, just who you are and how you are. But do you think that's become like a role or responsibility for you on the defense to kind of take the tone, you got to take the field, or increase the energy when you guys make a play?
Yeah, I feel like I gotta be the guy, you know, that's has to be consistent with that type of, energy, that passion. Sometimes, my teammates, some people might not. I'm not gonna say my teammates, but sometimes, one person or here and there they might be out of it, and I might have to be that person to be like, let's go, or once they hear me scream or whatever, or they hear certain plays, things like that, get them amped up, get them like, all right, let's go, it's time to practice or whatever. So, I feel like I had to be that voice, or I had to show through my actions, and yeah, I've been feeling like that since I first came in here, and coaches say it's contagious, players say it's contagious, so. I feel like I gotta be on it because if I'm not on it, then they're like, what's wrong with him? You know what I mean? So I feel like if I'm not that person, they're gonna look at me sideways, and I can't have that happening. So you gotta be on point too.
Kyle, on that play where you were in the middle of the pile and it got pushed in the end zone, what was your entire experience in that whole scrum and what did you?
Holding on to the football, number one, and then I thought I got across personally, but the guys were pushing me across, and they're doing a great job of just showing second effort to try and get me through there and get me my first one. I thought it was on that play, but I got to get it in on the next one. So
When you watched that specific playback, what do you think the significance was for yourself and the entire group to have that effort?
yeah, I think it just shows like first effort, even if we get denied, we'll all come together and try and make it happen. Just pushing the pile and just showing everybody's effort to want to get this thing done.
One explanation I heard for why they blew it there, they say your feet were, both your feet were completely off the ground. So they blew it there. I couldn't see that. Did you feel that at any point?
Maybe, who knows? I mean, if there were, I've been playing football a long time. That's been situations where my feet have been off the ground. I've still continued my forward progress, but whatever the rest call, they call. We have to respect.
How do you feel about how your usage has progressed since you've been here and culminating in Sunday?
Yeah. I try to make the most of every opportunity I'm given. Whether I never go into a game knowing how many. So you just got to prepare yourself for whatever may come your way, wherever how large or how small. So that's kind of just the approach I take each week. Just however much I'm given in terms of opportunities, I got to go make the best of each one.
What have you learned about DeAndre and just like the pairing of you two and why you guys seem to fit so well together?
Yeah, since I stepped foot in the building, I learned a lot from him. Just a guy that's done it, and just learning about what it's like to be a pro in this league at this position for so long. He's been doing it for a lot of years, so just the day in and day out, the work ethic, taking care of your body, just what it means to be a pro.
What about his skill set? Because I know he's like really dangerous when he gets in space.
Yeah.
What do you think about that and how that complements what you can do as kind of like that bruising running back, the big physical guy who can go in between the tackles? Does that complement each other?
Yeah, absolutely. Dre's a big play at any moment type of guy, and I think you get the ball in his hands. He has that ability to make those big plays happen out of anything, and I think we complement each other well with the way we run. Different running styles, of course, but I think we complement each other well.
Continuing with that, what's y'all's relationship been like? Late in the game, you had that big run that was almost a touchdown, and Dre's running down the sideline, jumping up and down, celebrating as much as anybody else. What's the relationship been like between you and him?
Yeah, I mean, I think it's just grown since we've gotten here, and like when we first met, it kind of clicked off just the East Coast thing. He's from Philly, I'm from Jersey, and then just seeing each other work, I think we make each other better in practice throughout the week. So, I'm always trying to see him do great things, and I like you said, in those moments like that, he's running down the sideline with me. He's always been supportive since I got here, so things like that.
Talk about making the most of your opportunities. It seems like every time you've gotten the ball just about this season, you've gone the right direction for 4 or more yards. Did it feel like this was a game where you were kind of let off the leash and kind of allowed to do, play more of your game more consistently?
You know, whether it's let off the leash or not, I think I definitely did get the most carries I think I've gotten in the game, and like I said, just never know how many opportunities you're gonna get, but was definitely feeling the rhythm. I guess you could say I felt the rhythm towards the end there, especially as we were trying to get the ground game established, and then once we got it established, kind of getting that 4-minute mode of trying to drain the clock out. So yeah, like I guess I could say I found a rhythm a little bit.
You did get your touchdown ball back, right?
Yeah, I did. Yeah, appreciate that. I got that.
So determined coming out of the bye week to get the running game unlocked. What's your interpretation of these last 2 games and what you guys have discovered?
Yeah, I think we're picking up steam, but this is still a long way to go. Like we're making progress in the right direction for sure, and last game was a testament to that. The game before that kind of got it going too a little bit, and we have aspirations to be even better than where we are in terms of the run game. So I know we're gonna do that. We're just gonna keep building week by week.
Were games that it was close to clicking.
I mean, we watch the film. It's just little things like we're a guy away here, or maybe on us on the backfield, like maybe we missed a read by a step, or footwork detail, aiming points, all that little stuff that can go from missing a big play or gashing a 40-yarder or whatnot or a touchdown. So just correcting the things that we can control and harping on it throughout the week, and then on Sundays going out and fixing them and executing.
Just by the nature of where y'all do India during practice, we get to see close you and EB and how y'all kind of interact. What about his coaching style let you know kind of early on in that process that would fit like your playing mentality and vice versa, that you would fit his coaching style?
I don't try to see how I would fit a coach's coaching style. I kind of just receive the coaching how it's taken, and it just so happens the way he coaches is how I've been coached my whole life. That demand a lot of you, and maybe be a little vocal as you guys get to hear on a daily basis. But yeah, like that. He coaches us hard. He demands a lot of us, but he does because he knows we can do it. So I think I respond to the way he coaches, and I just take everything he does and try to apply it to my game and execute.
Defensive players said that Al Harris had a goal for them and has had one for a while, like 4 takeaways a game. Is there any sort of parallel or anything with the offense that coaches had goals, sort of benchmarks that they want you guys to hit each week, whether it's individual for running backs or big picture stuff?
I think you'll hear EB say all the time, fine 4.5. Like, he's not too concerned of like, everything number wise or big picture. I think he just says, whatever play we're on is the most important, and if the ball's in your hand, you got to find 4.5.
4.5 yards per carry.
Yeah.
What, is there significance as to why not 5? Like,
It's a great question you should ask him. He just has always said 4.5, at least 4.5.
When you look at how the run game changed, was there anything that the big boys up front have done differently that you feel has opened up more holes for you guys?
I wouldn't say differently. I mean, they worked their tail off throughout the week, and they've made some strides in their own ways, and guys stepping up, and when Nell was down, and then now he's back. But yeah, like they've been running off the ball in the run game. They're protecting well. Like they're doing all the right things, and I think it just makes in the backfield for running backs, and it makes our job a lot easier. I know Caleb feels the same way, dropping back for passes. So we just follow their lead. They've been doing a heck of a job.
When you get an opportunity to run behind Darnell and people just clear out of the way, is that kind of just a great feeling as a running back to know that you've got that guy standing in front of you?
Yeah, absolutely. Yeah, we get that all the time with them. Darnell and all the guys up front, like they'll move people and displace backers for us so that we can make those big plays that we make. So yeah, it's a great feeling.